What am I watching? I don't even know. I don't even know what I watched tonight. Literally, I'm sitting here. I'm trying not to laugh too hard because I don't know what that was. Oh, goodness gracious. This was Extreme Rules, apparently. I think this show broke my brain today. Oh, dear goodness. Oh my gosh. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I needed that laugh. I'm good. Is my stream's working? I don't even care. Who cares? This show. What the hell was this? What was this? Someone with a brain that works. Tell me what I just watched. All these rumors throughout the week. Oh, the match, they filmed for 6 to 7 hours. It's going to be a really long match. I'm talking about the swamp fight that I was legitimately interested in seeing. Huh. That was about 15 minutes of freaking garbage. What was that? Like, okay, I know I'm laughing because it's funny. It's legitimately funny. But someone tell me, what did we just watch? What did I just watch here? Like, that ending was so stupid. What was that? This show as a whole was stupid. That's all I could think of. It was stupid. The whole show was stupid. I don't know what I just watched. My brain is broke. It's not even a joke. I was laughing on here because I don't know what to say. This show was just atrocious. We had Dolph Ziggler announce a match announced his stipulation that it's, because he was saying it was going to be something we never seen before. We'd never seen this before. That's what Dolph Ziggler said, right? And it was an Extreme Rules match. Just only he could use it. Yeah, we've seen that before, Dolph. Thanks for coming, buddy. Then we get all this build up for this swamp fight for the whole night. And that's what we got. 15 minutes of I don't even know. It was more exposition than it was action. That'd be like if I went and saw Independence Day, right? Let's use a movie as an example. A very well-known movie. We just had the 4th of July recently, right? If we had exposition throughout that whole movie with very little action, what would we call that? Like, literally, there was, in 15 to 20 minutes, there was maybe 6 to 7 minutes of actual fighting. This was easily, to me, the worst of all the cinematic matches that they have had. Easily. Let's talk about the women's championship match, the Raw women's championship match. That was a damn good match up to the last few minutes. Then what was that? Someone tell me, what was that? The WWE championships that I already covered. No US title match tonight. I just, in the eye for an eye match? What are we watching here? What are we watching? Who's putting this together? Who's going through this stuff and saying, yeah, all of this, great ideas. It's all great ideas. no, this show was just atrocious. This was an atrocious show. The best match on paper, despite the last few minutes, despite the ending, was the Sasha Asuka match. Best match. I'm going to talk about the matches more, but I just need to get all this out because I took my time out today. Took time out today to watch this. But for what? They had a kickoff match they didn't announce. The one good thing, the one, to me, saving grace about all of this was probably Cesaro and Nakamura winning the tag team championship tonight. Because that was definitely the right decision. So at that point, I thought, hey, maybe this show might actually do good tonight. Maybe we're going to get a good show. No, I was wrong. I was most definitely wrong about this tonight. This was a bad show. I'm going to pick it apart, though. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to pick this thing apart. I got my notes. Don't worry. I'm going to pick it apart. I don't even know. I need water. And I need to gather myself here. While I do that, thank you everyone for coming here. This is the Yo Bro Nation YouTube channel. This is The Horror Show at Extreme Rules review for July 19th, 2020. This was live from the PC Center. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming and joining me on this channel. If you'd like, you can go to any of our social media sites. You see it, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all listed down in the description below. Patreon, we got that. We got our TeePublic store. You guys can go there, buy merch. I'm putting up new merch this coming week, by the way, so look out for that. You don't have to. If you don't want to, just like, share, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Share this video, let your friends know, tell them, come watch this weirdo guy talk about wrestling. That's what I'm here for. It's fun. I also do movies, by the way, for those who like movies. So, all that whatever stuff out of the way. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the show. Why not? Because this show is, what was this show? Like, for real, someone, somewhere, tell me, what was I watching? So we did kick off, there was a kickoff show match. There was Kevin Owens versus Buddy Murphy. It was a good match. It was a decent match. Like I said, it wasn't announced before the show. Maybe it was put on their social media today. I don't know. I wasn't checking social media today. I was busy. So, but then in the match was just, Kevin Owens hitting that stunner, winning the match. It is what it was. I honestly didn't really watch it because I wasn't too concerned about it. It's a kickoff show match. It doesn't count. But the show does start off proper. Let me set up my stuff here. Let me set my stuff up so I'm ready to go. So the show does kick off, though, with The New Day versus Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura in a tables match for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. We learned that the rules is only one opponent from the teams have to be put through the table for the other team to win. Cool. Good to know. This was announced Friday after I did my preview and predictions video, which I figured this match would be added. So the match just starts. Some good work by the New Day, working as a team. You get a stomp by Kofi Kingston. Biggie with a nice belly to belly up. You get him fighting on the outside. Biggie starts tossing Kofi into them, drop kick into the apron, and then the other one into the barricade and the plexiglass. Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro do a double suplex, which gets broke up by Big E. You get several attempts between the teams trying to put the other ones to the table. Typical table match. You're just trying to work, get them onto a table. You then get Big E's signature spear through the ropes to the outside. Nakamura and Cesaro then do another suplex attempt, but this time Big E pulls Kofi back into the ring through the ring ropes, and then Nakamura and Cesaro knee him both to the head. They start working over Big E. Big E, though, fights back. Kofi Kingston with a trust fall off the top rope to the outside on Nakamura. Big E with a beautiful belly-to-belly, popped those hips, flipped him. That onto Cesaro. Big E stomping him in the corner. Kofi decides to stack the tables on the outside, so they're double stacked. So you already knew those were going to come into play. They were going to be used. That was going to be the obvious plan. Cesaro and Big E fighting on the top rope. Kofi breaks that up. Big E then gets knocked down off the ropes. You get Cesaro with the big swing, but Nakamura with a knee to his head. Kofi gets back in the ring and starts fighting them back. Match comes to an end when Kofi Kingston, who's in control, is setting Cesaro up on the top rope. He goes for a Hurricanrana. By this point, Big E's already been put down on the outside. Nakamura does help him, knees Kofi Kingston to the head, then assists him with the powerbomb, driving Kofi in this spot. It looked like it hurt a little bit, but Kofi Kingston then gets powerbombed through both tables from the top rope to the outside, allowing you to have new Smackdown Tag Team Champions Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, I think that was the best decision of the entire night. It was the right decision for sure. These guys, it's been teased that they're going to become, the champs, that they were better than them. If they hadn't win, it'd been another New Day win, rinse and repeat. What do they do from here? Probably a rematch at SummerSlam. Because is there any other teams on SmackDown? Nope. You got Heavy Machinery, but you're focusing on Otis as a singles competitor. Okay, sure thing. There really is no other teams. You had the Forgotten Sons who would have been in this role, but with what Jackson Riker did, they kind of set them to the side, doing God knows what, who knows. Well, I don't know, but there is no other teams on SmackDown, so you're going to get this probably again going into SummerSlam. But the match was a really good tables match with a good ending, the right ending. I'm cool with it. I'm all for it. We go to a backstage segment with Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. You got all of them pep talking Nikki Cross. We believe in you. We know you can do this. She's like, I think I can do this. And she gets, but if you lose, we'll still be your friends. Oh, Kairi Sane, man, I feel bad. I hope she leaves WWE, and I hope she goes back to Japan and actually gets used properly, because that poor girl has gotten no help on the main roster. But Nikki goes up, which leads us into the next match. Ooh, almost knocked my camera down. Which is Bayley and Nikki Cross one-on-one for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This is one of the matches that I actually legitimately was wanting to see. It was one of those good ones, I would like to think, at least. Of course, Bayley had Sasha in her corner, and Nikki Cross had Alexa Bliss in her corner. Bayley starts this match off. She's super arrogant. My lighting's getting messed up. It's from my paper, yo. I need to do something with this stuff. I need a better thing to hold my notes up. But Bayley does start arrogant. You can tell she's really in Nikki Cross's head. And that was the story of this match, was Nikki trying to find that confidence, trying to find herself in this match, which I thought Nikki was pretty confident before all this, but okay, sure thing. Bayley ends up getting slapped by Nikki Cross into the corner after Bayley rammed her in there. Bayley comes running at her, gets hit with the swinging net breaker. She rolls out. Nikki Cross with 2 cross bodies off the top rope, only getting a 2 count on either one of them. Bayley then rolls to the outside as Nikki goes for a third one, but then she cross bodies her from the outside. Nikki then thrown into the plexiglass. Bayley slows the pace down, starts to wear down Nikki Cross. Bayley gets Nikki caught in the apron, hits her, goes for another move, but Nikki at that point had went from one side under to the other side, so Bayley runs across the ring, gets caught in the apron, and Nikki starts hitting her as well. Nikki, though, She fights out of a Bailey to belly, then gets hit with a Bailey to belly for a 2 count. Superplex by Bailey off the top for only a 2 count. Starts jacking. Nikki Cross with a schoolgirl only gets a 2 count. Nikki Cross starts to fight back, starts to build some momentum, hits her some elbows, hits a nice little bulldog out of the corner. Nikki goes up top. Bailey, though, moves out of the way. You get a ripcord neck breaker by Nikki Cross. Nikki up top gets knocked down by Bailey onto the turnbuckle. Bailey then with a running knee to the head. She gets her down only for a 2 count. Bailey to the corner, misses head first into the turnbuckle pad. Then a neck breaker off of the apron by Nikki Cross. I mean, this was a good match. Like, this was a good, solid match. It actually really was. It gets some back and forth. Bailey, though, reaching out for Sasha. This is towards the end of the match. Bailey reaching out for Sasha. Sasha hands her an object. She takes one of her blings, hands it to her. Sasha then gets on the apron, starts to argue with the ref. Alexa Bliss gets up there. They're both arguing. Bailey then hits Nikki in the gut with Sasha's ring, right in the ribs. Face plants her using the knee. Gets the 3 count. Bailey remains Bailey dos straps and retains her SmackDown Women's Championship. Again, it was a really good match. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. The ending was clean for the most part. Bailey, with nefarious means, retains her championship yet again, but that would also play into what we have later. We'll continue. We get a short Firefly Funhouse segment with, I guess, Hotel Transylvania, whatever it was. Bray Wyatt, though, with makeup, being Count Dracula, says we're going to show the most horrifying footage ever imaginable. And it's the karaoke from SmackDown a couple weeks ago, and he blames Ramblin' Rabbit for it. But then he's basically just talking about the swamp fight that you're going to see later on. It's whatever. We then find out that Apollo Crews will not be competing tonight because of Bobby Lashley's putting him in the full Nelson caused him to be unable to compete. So apparently Apollo Crews has a legit injury, is not going to be able to compete. So we get a promo from MVP where he says, they show the footage of what happened and how the injury occurred. He says, let that be a lesson to everybody. And he says, and then he tells Bobby Lashley, we need to have a talk, we have to handle our personal business. And he says, you can't be hurting people. He's playing around about him putting the full Nelson and hurting him, they laugh about it. And then he crowns himself the new United States champion. I will say this, MVP still intrigues me. This match will probably take place at SummerSlam now. I'm sure by then Apollo Crews will be healed. He'll be good to go. Whatever. That belt is actually growing on me. With the lighting the way it was tonight, once it was around MVP's waist, it actually looked good. So what we're probably going to get is MVP versus Apollo Crews, who's the real United States champion. Similar to what we got at SummerSlam, years ago with Punk and John Cena about who's the real WWE champion. You know what I mean? So that's probably where this is heading. But I guess they did what they could. I guess they thought Apollo would be freed to wrestle tonight, but he wasn't. So that's where we are with the U.S. title. But I think the belt's actually kind of starting to grow on me. It's time to talk about the eye for an eye match. I was not really thrilled about this match, and I'm still not thrilled about this match, but I can say that Seth and Ray, at the very least, put on an entertaining match. But there were points in this match that I actually cringed, especially when they got around those steps. Yeah, there were this was a hard one to watch. I'm not gonna lie. Um, so they kept reiterating that you had to gouge eye. You had to gouge eye. I can't talk. Retake 3. You had to gouge out the eye of your opponent to win this match. I can't even say it because it's so ridiculous. The concept of this match is so ridiculous. And I guess Ray's working, I talked about this on my preview and predictions, but Ray is working on a handshake agreement, and this was probably going to be his way out. And I'm pretty sure I'm right. Or maybe they're going to continue with this and Dominic, and I really don't know. But the match starts off with Rollins coming out. He has some pliers, and this match was just all over the place. There was no one person building momentum and whatever. It was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Try to gouge the eyes, trying to use whatever they could. And there, like I said, there were some moments in this match that I legitimately was kind of, like I felt a little uncomfortable. Anyways, Ray's music hits, and he comes from behind Rollins, drop kicks him. Rollins rolls out. They get back into the ring. Rollins hits a sling blade. Immediately starts going for Ray's left eye. He kept work the left eye throughout most of this match. Ray tries to use a rebar that he found underneath the ring to hit Seth, but Seth's able to get away with that. Seth gets a kendo stick and then hits Ray with the kendo stick. He gets them back and forth. They're on the apron. Ray goes for Hurricanrana. Seth catches him. Basically gets it into a Falcon Arrow. It looked really pretty, though. Seth picking him up, holding him, and then dropping him on the apron, which you know is the hardest part of the ring. And then starts going for Ray's eye again. He attempts to go for the steps, the corner of the steps, to try to gouge the eye. Ray's able to evade it. Rollins starts using different weapons to start gouging the eye. He's got the chair. He's using a kendo stick. He's trying to use the pliers. He's trying to use pins. He's just going for everything. So he's actually like, where am I at here? So yeah, he tries to use, things, pin, etc. He runs at Ray with a pin. Ray's able to drop toe hold him. Rollins hitting the table, so now his eyes hurt. Rollins then gets hit with the chair by Ray. Rollins tries to tie Ray's arm against the ropes at one point, but Ray's able to get out, pushing Seth into the post. You get some more kendo stick shots by Rollins. Rollins then, so he's got the kendo stick lodged into the corner of the little metal piece on the rope. I'm trying to explain this. But he tries to do that. Ray's able to reverse, keep from doing that, and then he starts going in on the attack on Rollins. He hits a seated senton, a frog splash, gets a 2 count. Or why do you even go for a count? What am I even talking about? Counts. Goes for a frog splash. I'm telling you, this show, it broke me. It broke me hardcore. Anyway, so he hits that. Ray tries to gouge out the eye of Rollins, but runs to Seth, and I don't know what I said. You get a stomp attempt, but Ray moves and then hits the DDT. Sometimes my notes, I can't even read my own notes. Ray on Seth. You got Ray on Seth's shoulders. He has the kendo stick. He hits Seth in the head, then basically runs him back into the barricade with kind of like a reverse Rana. Then he rounds in the ring, does a baseball slide into a powerbomb into the barricade again. Ray then breaks this was the first point where I was like, ooh, no. He takes the kendo stick, breaks it, takes a big piece of it, and tries ramming it into Seth's eye. Seth gets away. Seth gets into the ring. He gets hit with the 619. Seth, again, though, recovers, tries using the steps once again, but Ray's able to stop it. Yeah. Ray then takes off the little black piece that he was wearing in his mask, showing his eye, and it's just straight white. So I guess it's going into blindness or healing or whatever. shows his blind eye, rams Seth into the corner of the steps. I mean, you could see it like indenting into Seth's eye, and it was so cringy. It was But then Seth hits him with a low blow and then a super kick against the barricade. Seth, you can see Seth, he's showing his eye. You can see the blood under his eye. He then stomps Ray onto the apron, or onto the mat. Then he grabs Ray. He's yelling, I didn't want to do this. You made me do this. And he's grabbing Ray's head, and you see the struggle. Ray's really fighting as hard as he can, trying to avoid this. But then Seth just takes his head and just shoves it into it. And you see the screaming. And finally, he lets go. Ray just, his eyes on it, and he slides. It actually made me feel physically ill watching this. And I'm usually pretty good about my composure with stuff like this. But you see the ref and medics start running out there. Seth's walking up. They ring the bell. It's over. It's out. They're screaming, it's out. You never see this. So no CGI, no fake eyeball. You just see Seth's reaction as Seth looks, and Seth turns around and starts vomiting all over the place. Dominic's out there. He's trying to support him, like trying to, console his dad or whatever. It was, look, this match was a good match, but the stipulation was just ridiculous. So is this them actually writing off Rey Mysterio? I don't know. I don't honestly know. But it was just... it was just no. It was just no. That really... But Seth's reaction, I'm not going to lie, was funny. And then the crowd, like, berating him as he walks off. He's like, oh, gosh, what did I do? So, I don't know. I would like to see Seth's reaction. Sucks though we're not getting Pirate Seth. That was something I was really looking forward to. They cut to an interview with Bayley, who's all somber. She's asked by Kayla Braxton, about the whole thing, her retainer job, about, with what happened. She's like, look, I know. It's like, Ray, if you're listening, I hope you are. I just want you to know, you're not seeing double vision. That's right. I'm still Bayley Ghost Straps. And I laughed. I'm not even going to lie. I laughed my ass off because that's brilliant. Bayley, that is such a dickish thing. That was funny by Bayley. I'm sorry. But she uses that to introduce Sasha and talk about how she's going to be, Sasha 2 belts, and that they're going to pop the champagne, that they're going to win. And it was a good promo by these two. Then they go to a video package of the swamp fight. That was a good video package. Was probably better than the match itself. Then we get what I think should have probably main evented this show. That is until the ending of this match. Asuka versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. Again, this was easily, up to the last maybe 3 or 4 minutes, the best match of the night. It was good from start till that last few minutes. And WWE had to go mess it up. The match starts off, though, with a lockup between the two, forcing each other into the corners. Get a side headlock by Sasha Banks. Sasha, though, does end up getting the bank statement in on Asuka, but Asuka does end up getting out. Then gets her hand stopped. They didn't really go too much into that. Sasha, though, with the bridge, trying to pin Asuka. Asuka, though, using her counter into an armbar to get out. You get the knee on a rope by Asuka to the head of Sasha. And I'm sorry, during this part, I was trying to do a couple different things, so I kind of missed a few things, but what happened. Sasha attempts a sunset flip through the ropes. Asuka catches her, though, stomps Sasha right on the chest, and then hits her with a baseball slide knee into the face on the apron. Asuka gets blocked. She gets tossed into the post. I'm sorry, I can't see what I'm writing here. I'm honestly, I don't know. Asuka lock was blocked into the post. Sasha then starts to work the arm over, and she keeps doing that. Double knees on the ropes, into the middle rope, and then she does it again with Asuka down on the mat. Sasha continues to work the arms, but Asuka starts kicking her to get away from her, hits her with a spinning back fist, hits her with one hip attack, goes for a second one, but then she gets caught by Sasha in the ropes. Ugh. Then Asuka attempting the German to the outside. That gets blocked. But then you get the power bomb into the plexiglass by Sasha. Sorry, Sasha was attempting the German. Sasha then plexiglass power bomb. Yeah, that happened. Frog splash by Sasha. That was a 2 count. She immediately transitions that into the bank statement. Let's see, where am I here? Asuka, though, does make it to the ropes. On the apron, Sasha starts talking some trash. You know, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be here. Then you get repeated elbows by Asuka. Another Asuka lock attempt over the ropes. It was kind of a little bit of a botch, but not too bad. Asuka pulls her over. She rolls her into a pin attempt with the lock still in. That for only a 2 count. Beautiful German by Asuka. Then into another hip attack. That was for a 2 count. You get some more back and forth between the 2 women. Sasha goes up top. Asuka says up there. She fights her off. Goes for a German off the top rope. Very high. Sasha manages to land on her knees. She goes for something after hitting Asuka. Goes for something off of the middle turnbuckle, but she falls, starts clutching her knee. I wasn't sure if she was kayfabing it. I'm pretty sure she was because the way the match went. But the referee's asking, do you want to quit? Do you want to quit? She's refusing to quit. You get multiple counters between the 2 women. While all this is going on, Bayley's on the outside. She hits Kairi Sane with a Bayley to belly on the outside. Bayley then comes around, tries to hand Sasha the belt several times, tries to distract the referee. Sasha finally gets the belt after Bayley's up on the apron with the distraction. The ref, though, does stop Sasha. Like I said, the ending of this match became a big mess. Became a huge mess. The ref stops it, takes the belt, says, that's it, I'm tired of this. Gets hit with the mist. Asuka goes to hit Sasha with the mist, but she ducks, hits the referee in the face. Sasha's not sure what to do. Ends up getting the Asuka lock attempted again for a 3rd time. Bayley, though, hits Asuka from behind with the championship belt. Then takes the referee's shirt off, puts it on herself, and then counts the 3 count. And then makes the referee ring the bell, grabs the championship belts, and her and Sasha run off with the belts. Sasha's music starts playing. What was that? Such a good match. Like, really, a really good match. And then that ending happens. Someone tell me, what was that? This is the point where my brain started to crack, right? This is where it started to crack. So you're going to tell me, and I'm sure there'll be like some reverse decision, or for some strange reason it'll stand, but they'll have a rematch at SummerSlam because they're going to abandon the plan. Remember what I said. They need to stick to Sasha and Bayley. But hey, maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe the decision will be reversed. That's what will set off Sasha. Like, oh, you ruined it for me. This is your fault. But probably not. They're probably going to hold off on this, which is fine. But they just got to carry the story. But you're going to tell me that you had such a great match and you ended it in this sort of BS? And it was such a good match. This was such a fantastic match. We get an update on Ray's eye. They say it's some sort of an injury that if everything's okay, he won't lose his vision. They're writing him away to wrestle later on. I guess he'll take a few months off, recover, and then you'll see him in AEW or something. Or, I don't know, maybe he's going to resign with the company. Maybe that's what's going to happen. He's just going to resign with the company. I'm still, I'm just, Jesus Christ. I'm still stuck on this whole ending to the Sasha match. Legitimately. I can't do it. But Dolph now, so we get Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE Championship. This was the point where I was like, this show's a fucking waste. This is a waste of time. Just legitimately a full-on waste. So Dolph and Drew make their entrances. Dolph announces that you're stupid. I told you without, whatever. You're screwed. It's an Extreme Rules match. Okay. For me. Oh, and if you count it out or this or that, you lose the title. I'm just like, what? We've seen this stuff before. What happened to this first time ever? Never seen before. What happened to that? No, we get an Extreme Rules match that only Dolph can do the Extreme Rules. That Drew has to abide by the regular standard rules. We've seen that before. I've seen that before. Played over again and again. It usually in place by an authority figure, but there was nothing different. And then this is definitely, out of all of what Drew's done since WrestleMania, this was definitely the weakest. I would have much rather had a Bobby Lashley rematch. At least that would have been interesting, because those two actually worked well together. And to say that, considering how many people don't like Bobby Lashley, that's something. That is something. And I don't put this on Drew, and hell, I don't even put this on Dolph, because the match was not bad, but it was not great. It was a okay match. But these two are capable of doing better than okay. Dolph is capable. Definitely capable. Drew, in his own right, is very capable. But this is what we got. And it sucked. To an extent. But it wasn't, again, it wasn't horrible. They had the potential of being so much better than they were. I'm just disappointed, I suppose. I'm just disappointed. So the match begins. Dolph, again, he announces the stipulation that he made, the Extreme Rules, whatever. Drew, though, goes right for Dolph. Like, the story of this was Drew had an answer for everything that Dolph tried to throw at him. That was the story. There was no single point where Dolph really had the advantage. But Drew goes right for Dolph, beats him up, sets up for a Claymore. Dolph rolls out. Dolph, though, they fight back to the ring. Dolph tries to use a chair. Drew catches it, tosses it, hits him with a not so great belly to belly. Ziggler, though, on back on the outside, does ram Drew into the ring post and then into the barricade. But Drew, right back to having the advantage yet again. But then Dolph hits him with a low blow, followed by a chair shot. Then hits him again with another chair, and Drew catches his throat. That's supposed to be the turning point, I suppose. But Ziggler tries to do something to Drew on the outside, gets caught, rammed into the apron, and then tossed with the belly-to-belly onto the announcer's table. They continue to fight. You get a famouser off the table by Dolph Ziggler onto McIntyre, but McIntyre continues to fight, continues to try to keep it in this match. He gets the advantage, goes for a Claymore, gets hit in the knee with his chair, which goes into a zigzag, only for a 2 count for Ziggler. Back onto the outside, you get a super kick. Drew's onto a table that was set up by Dolph. Dolph, though, with a very high, like he had a big vertical, beautiful elbow drop off of the top rope to the table on the outside. Drew, though, barely getting back in the ring, barely making the 10 count. Drew goes for the future shot. That gets, Dolph gets out of that, kicks Drew in the knee, hits him with the zigzag, hits him with the Uranagi onto the chair for only a count of 2. Dolph starts to clean up the ring, mad, starts yelling, I told you I'm smarter, blah, blah, blah. Sets up for the super kick, doesn't even start to count, hits with the Claymore, 1, 2, 3, Drew McIntyre retains. One, we already knew this was going to happen. We knew that Dolph was going to lose this match. The stipulation was pointless. It was, I mean, short of them making something so crazy that we would just like, oh my God, what? We knew it was going to be a disappointment, but then they were just, it's almost like they tried to think of something, just couldn't. So they're like, we'll just have an Extreme Rules match, but only Dolph can do it. Yeah, that will make people go, yeah. It's almost like they just didn't care. That's the most disappointing part, that your WWE Championship match, and you just didn't care. 1 second. I need a drink. This was a pointless, stupid, not needed match. And of all the things they could have done with anyone else on the roster, again, I would have settled for a Bobby Lashley rematch, but they didn't give it to us. Instead, this is what they decided they wanted to do. So, okay, this is what they delivered us. Was anyone really shocked? I wasn't. I didn't really care about this. I wasn't expecting a great match, honestly. But I was expecting better than this. I thought this would be one of the better matches at the very least. But it's like they just was lazy and was like, whatever. I don't care. That's so disappointing. Like, legitimately, it was so disappointing. But that was your WWE title match. Drew McIntyre retained. He's going to go on to probably Randy Orton at SummerSlam, which I guarantee you is going to end up being better than this. At least I hope so. I hope so. Main event time. The match that I was actually wanting to see. The Swamp Fight with Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. Non-title, of course. Non-title. Looking at these notes. I even wrote in my notes. Legit excited. They built it up nicely throughout the night, teasing it with Bray. Then it was a little cheesy, the Bray promo. Then teasing it with that promo, I was like, oh, damn, that's actually pretty good. That was their best opportunity to give me that match. Because after that, I was done. I was done. This show bombed. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at these notes. And it just killed me. So they go to it. And again, there's no commentary over it. This could have used commentary over it, honestly. I think it would have helped just a little bit. But Braun pulls up in his big old truck. Bray's just sitting there in his rocking chair. And Braun looks at him and says, I'm home. And then you get flashes of like animals and stuff. And then Bray just disappears. And Braun's just looking around for him. Get more flashes of animals and flashes of Braun and Bray. And this happens throughout the whole match of just flashes, random flashes. The men show up, start attacking Braun. And it cuts into Firefly Bray. Braun, you're a man. If you can't do it, no one can. Go, Braun. And it's like, what is happening here? At first I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to do that. No, that's the only time. That was the one and only time we ever saw the Firefly version of Bray. Then you see Braun, yelling for Bray, where are you? Show your face. And he gets hit with a shovel from behind. He rolls around, his eyes get big. I'm like, okay, is it the Fiend? What is it? No, it's the Wyatt family version of Braun Strowman, mask and all. And he takes it off. He takes the shovel and whacks, and screen goes black. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe they're going to have a fight. Maybe they're going to somehow work that to where we can have that. That'd be interesting. No, we cut into Braun chained to a chair inside a shack. And you start to hear Bray Wyatt's old theme playing. And then they show Bray Wyatt slowly making his way. into the compound. And they kept calling this the Old Wyatt Swamp. It was the Old Wyatt Compound, right? I don't know. I guess I'm picky, perhaps. I don't know. So Strong, he comes in and he sees Braun. He says, "Welcome home." Braun's yelling at him, whatever. Bray starts talking about prophecy, how he's not his enemy, that they could rule the world when governments are crumbling and all this stuff. He was doing the old Bray Wyatt shtick, right? It's about ruling the world. He says, "Do you know where I've been, Braun?" "I don't care where you've been." Like, "I'm going to send you back to hell where you belong." I'm like, what? He's been around the whole time, you asshat. Anyways, he says, where I've been, you can't even imagine. He says, "But I'm back. And I don't care what's said, I'm never going back." And then he says, "You want to see something real scary?" And then some lady with a shroud over her face comes out carrying a snake, the serpent, the venomous serpent, as they call it. Can't say snake. Can't say snake. The venomous serpent. He says, "Don't be scared." He says, "Do you remember the serpent?" And then it bites Braun. We then flash to Braun by a fire. He gets up, runs over that. More men start to attack Braun. He beats up the last guy, breaks the shovel, hits him with it. That guy catches on fire and runs away, and Braun's just sitting there laughing his ass off. Then you hear a woman call out to Braun. And this time, I'm like, oh, we're going to see Sister Abigail? We're going to see the full physical version of Sister Abigail. And you see this woman appear from the fog. She's talking to Braun. "Braun, you don't have to do this. Come home, Braun. Come to me." And it flashes intercuts. And she pulls the shroud over her head. And it's Alexa Bliss. "You know you want me, Braun. You know you want to be with me, Braun." And we're like, well, fuck yeah, he wanted to be with you. That was it. Like, they're cutting into like shots of them during the Mixed Match Challenge and all that stuff. And she's trying to lure him in. And he's staring. He's slowly walking towards her. And then Bray appears out of nowhere. Starts to attack him. But he ends up getting chokeslammed by Braun. And then a boat. It starts floating on the water, and then Braun sombers over to that. A lot of sombering, a lot of slow walking. And he looks in the boat. There's nothing there. And then Bray shows up from behind, hits him with the shovel, tries to drown Braun several times, but then he just vanishes yet again. Braun gets up out of the water, makes his way back up to the dock. He climbs to the top. He's laying there. Bray then appears above him, has the paddle from the boat. He tries to hit Braun, but Braun moves. But then he eventually starts beating Braun with it. Repeated shots. Starts talking about, "I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this, man. We could have been things, man." Braun, the old Bray Wyatt motif. Braun stands up. Bray starts laughing at him. But then Braun kicks him. He falls through the railing into the swamp. Braun walks over to him, looks down, kneels. "It's over." And it starts to cut. You get the thing, WD, copyright, whatever, in the lower third. And I'm like, really? That's it? And then Bray pops up out of the water, tries to apply the Manimal Claw, pulls Braun into the water. You see splashing, Braun trying to get up. Help! And he's being drowned. Then they cut to the water turning red and it bubbling. And then the Fiend emerges. He's standing in the dock. He's staring. And you hear the Bray Wyatt laughter in the background. And then, "Let me in." And that's it. It ends. Now you tell me. What? Really? That's what all this buildup has been to? That's what I get it. We're going to get these two at SummerSlam for the championship. But with how this ended, I assume Bray Wyatt won. Was there really a winner? I don't know. Was there a winner? Was there a loser? I don't know. But despite the fact that there will be a rematch at SummerSlam, I don't like it. I don't like the finish. I don't like it. I don't understand what this was. Yes, I came on here and I laughed because how ridiculous it was. But now that I've got back to the point, it's like it was a pointless match. It had no real reason to even exist. Like none. They could have done just another match with the old Bray versus the new, versus Braun. Like the swamp fight wasn't even a fight. It was like a psychological thing. And being how the Firefly Funhouse match was, I know Bray Wyatt could have done more. But this, to me, was a failure. A failure in like some of the worst possible ways. If I were to grade it, the match on its own, I'd give this like a 1.5. Just because of Bray. I don't know. You all can let me know in the comments what you thought of this show if you watched it. But, or just this match, whatever. Whatever you thought was the best, whatever you thought was the worst thing, y'all can let me know in the comments. Because this match was pointless. This pay-per-view as a whole was pointless. It makes me worried about SummerSlam. What are, and WWE trying to do, they did cinematic matches for WrestleMania. I was like, cool. They did Money in the Bank. I was like, hey, that's not a bad idea. That could possibly work. And then they did another similar thing for Backlash. And then they did this for Extreme Rules. We don't need cinematic matches for SummerSlam. Just embrace it. Everything in the empty arena. We don't need nothing special. I don't know. Like I said, y'all let me know. I'm done. This night, it broke me. It broke me. I want to thank you all for coming in and joining me. Whoever popped in, popped out. Thank you all. It's much appreciated. I wanted to give a special shout out to Sidekick Susie. I love you. You know what? I'm live. So I'm just going to say it here. Me and her are engaged. I am now engaged to Sidekick Susie. I am no longer a single man, ladies. I'm sorry. I am now officially taken. And I cannot wait. So, yeah, I know Susie's probably watching this. She's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to say it live on the air. I am now an engaged man. And I am happy. So, that is going to do it for me. There, I dropped that one. I'm waiting to see if she popped up in the chat. I am Zach. I want to thank all of you guys for coming in, and y'all have been awesome. Thank you, and be good to each other. It's rough times. Y'all have a good night. This is it for me, and I will see you all in the next video. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, join the nation. Y'all have a fantastic night. Goodbye.